Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about feeling lost in no contact.
When we're with a partner, we can build a life with them. It feels like home. And so when all of that crumbles, we can get this sense of feeling lost in the world.
Yeah, no contact is very difficult for so many reasons. First of all, if you don't know anything about it, you're going to see thousands of videos talking about it. Mm-hmm. And they're all kind of giving different strategies or techniques or advice on what to do. So that's going to be confusing enough. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you're scared, you're anxious, and everything inside of you wants to talk to your ex.
Oh yeah. And you can almost get this sense of panic and this anxiety. You feel like a kid that's lost in the store. I know sometimes you describe that when talking about the separation anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, we've all misplaced our parents at the store or they were fed up with us and walked to the other aisle.
I'm leaving.
I'm going to teach this kid a lesson. So we all know that feeling. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like you're dying without the people that you love, the people that you care about. And so when someone ends the relationship and you didn't think that they would, or you didn't see it coming, and even if you did, it just feels like your whole life is ended. You're scared, you're alone, you're frustrated. All you want to do is talk to that person.
Oh, yeah. And we feel like we lost a major support. You know, this could have been somebody that you slept next to every night, that you had that sense of comfort with. So for that person to not be there, you feel just a lot more vulnerable to the world. If something bad happens at work, you feel like you're taking the full brunt of it and not getting that opportunity to vent or, talk to your support system, which was your partner, about it. Or if something really good happens, you also feel like you don't have that support there to share the joy with. So it can be a really isolating experience to go through a breakup, can give you this sense of feeling lost.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you're sitting around waiting for them to come back, and you don't know what to do with that because you're like, are they ever going to come back? And you're just kind of like waiting, and it's a horrible feeling of, I don't feel like I can move on. I don't want to move on. I want them to come back, but I kind of feel helpless and scared, and you feel like, well, I should reach out to them to fix this then.
Yeah, well, we don't recommend that.
No, we don't.
But it's good to remember that this is all part of the process. I know when you're feeling really isolated, it can feel like this is going to be forever. Remind yourself that this is temporary. It's kind of like if you're building a house and you have the blueprint for it and you've already taken the time to build the walls, maybe you built the staircase, you have some of the foundational elements, then midway through, a boulder just hits your home and everything crumbles. And now you're starting to rebuild again from scratch. You still have the blueprint.
No, the blueprint is gone. that because you don't know if they're coming back, so you don't have the blueprint.
Yeah, true. It's through the shredder.
Now you're
but it's all you know.
It got blown away. It's under the boulder.
It was what you were expecting your house to look like, and now it's just completely gone. And so you're in this mode where you're having to reconstruct from zero, and it can feel really exhausting. It can feel really intimidated. You can feel like, man, I don't even know where to start. How do I even, set up some walls here? How can I even, make this a place that I could be comfortable with? It's something where you look at what you're trying to build and you're thinking, I don't know if I'll ever really be comfortable with this, because it's hard to imagine that.
And there are a lot of different factors for every different breakup. Like some of you may have picked up to move to be with that person. I had a client just a couple days ago that was ready to pick up and move to be close to him. And he was going to have to move a little bit, and she was going to move hours away to be closer. He was only going to have to move half an hour to an hour, and he didn't want to do it. And so she was devastated because she was willing to pick up and do so much to be closer, and he didn't want to compromise at all. So imagine if she had gone through with that, and then he just ends it, because that was very close to happening. And that happens to many people, where you pick up to be with somebody, you move countries. You may have known somebody who did that. And then all of a sudden you just feel like, I can't even imagine what it feels like to be in a different place, not knowing anybody.
So for those of you who don't know, I did end up moving to Norway for somebody that I was dating at the time. And I remember we had broken up actually shortly after I had moved. So if you can imagine an international, moving, transferring all my things. I no longer had a US bank account. I had nothing here in the US. I just put all my stuff in suitcases and left. So I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months into living there, we ended up breaking up. So you can imagine I'm there in Norway, like people speaking Norwegian to me, like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So we understand that sense of feeling lost in a place, especially if you've made a lot of sacrifices for your partner. It can be really disorienting. Your reality is kind of bending and twisting because things aren't the way that you thought they would be. And it can really be a deep sense of what do I do next, and having kind of no guidance, no direction. And so this can be something that's really, really challenging. And part of moving through this stage is being able to focus on yourself again. I know it's kind of general and we say these words a lot, focus on yourself, focus on yourself. You're like, I'm trying. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah.
So thinking about making your own choices, thinking about what it is that you want and connecting with that. Even if you have a mantra, thinking, what is it that I want for today? What is it that I want for breakfast?
Yeah.
Starting small.
Because right now, you don't feel like any of those things matter anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't care about that. I don't care about my career. I don't care about those friends that I was hanging out with that was causing all these fights. You know what I mean? Like, you don't seem to care about anything. So yeah, even something small to focus on is a good thing.
Yeah, to start. And when you think about it, you're adapting to change. This is a different kind of change, right? It's not like moving countries or, moving where you're living. It's an emotional change too.
You were literally lost.
Oh.
You're like, I don't even speak the language and I'm lost. I don't know what city I'm in. I just moved here.
I was in a tiny town too, in like a cabin-like house. But you are able to rebuild and grow. It takes time and it's small steps. If you can feel a little bit more in control of just some of those smaller choices, it's something that, gets better and better exponentially as time passes, as you continue to make choices for yourself. You're adapting to change emotionally, so it's going to feel different. It's going to feel different to take on a different identity of always thinking about you and another person and considering somebody all the time, to now you only have yourself to consider. So it can be really intimidating. It can be really daunting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the other side of it is it can also be really liberating.
That's right.
There's a lot of doors that you didn't know could be opened now that, you're in a different path, now that you are single. And even that identity can be hard to take on. Oh my God, I'm single. What does that look like? I'm not with this person and I thought I would be. So it can be overwhelming, but take it step by step. And part of this is also reorienting yourself. And this is something that Margaret would talk about a lot. For those of you who don't know, Margaret also worked with a lot of people who have experienced trauma. She worked a lot with people who experienced a lot of dissociative symptoms. And she would talk a lot about reorientation. And it can be as simple as, my name is Victoria. Today is today's date. The year is this year. I'm currently in this location. This is what I'm doing today. So
bringing yourself to the present.
Exactly. And this can be something that's really grounding.
It
just
really
to be
can
able
be.
to remind yourself of the events and that you're here in the present moment.
Because you kind of feel like you're floating in the unconscious and your mind just keeps wandering about, the breakup and what went wrong and what you did wrong. And you're kind of stuck in the past as opposed to what you're saying, grounding yourself in the present moment. And
for some of you, right after the breakup especially, it can almost feel like the breakup was a dream. And many of you might
That's
actually...
a nightmare. What are you talking about?
But I mean, like, you have this sense of replaying the breakup in your mind. You're like trying to make sense of that actually happening. You're trying to make sense of your life now. You might be actually having some strange dreams and nightmares about it too.
Yeah, we have a dream diary in the creative healing course. There might be one in the workbooks too, right?
I think so.
I can't remember. But yeah, we really focused on the unconscious in the creative healing course because there's so much that's going on in there and it's really directing what we do throughout every day and how we handle this breakup.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
So thinking about reorienting yourself, thinking about being able to ground yourself, seeking therapy if that is something that can be helpful to you. A lot of times in therapy, they will teach you simple grounding tools for when you are feeling overwhelmed or get that sensation of being lost. So that can be really helpful. Of course, the course and workbooks, there's a lot in that too. There's also affirmations and things that can kind of help calm you through this
Funny
time.
cartoons.
Yeah, that too. Try to make you giggle a little.
It's something positive to focus on as opposed to just what's my ex doing today and watching their social media 100 times. And most of you guys are doing that. Mm-hmm. It's, a lot of you guys are looking multiple times a day.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough. But that's why we're trying to get you to focus on something positive, instead of what they're doing, because their behaviors are going to change. You're only going to know a small part of what they're doing in the breakup. You're going to take small things and make them big. You're going to take small amounts of information and make it huge. They change your picture. Oh my God. It feels like the end of the world.
You're zooming in. Say, where are they?
Yeah. I know that feeling. I remember that feeling of they changed the picture. They took a new picture. They're moving on without me. Oh my God, they took a new picture someplace else. Mm-hmm. It feels devastating. It does feel like you're lost.
Yeah.
So these are some of the ways you can reorient yourself and get yourself into a better place.
Yeah. So take it step by step. We know that it's hard, especially in no contact. There can be a lot of time distortion too, or feels like time is moving super slow.
Horrible.
Yeah. The more you're able to ground yourself, the more you could, try to be present, the better it will be later down the road. It takes time.
And we're here to help you along the way. If you'd like to get our help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.